There is a production capacity of a lawn mowing truck that if you are one guy in the truck, you're not tapping the surface. And this is important, you need to understand this. If you are one guy in a truck, you are not tapping the surface of what this mowing rig is capable of producing income-wise. Because you are the bottleneck. You are the solo bottleneck, and this whole rig can make you way more money than you are capable of doing. You add a second guy into that truck, productivity goes up to this, okay? What is the most efficient mowing size? Solo, one guy, a two-man crew, a three-man crew. We've even experimented with a four-man crew. You don't even want to know what that looks like. But I'm going to tell you my thoughts in this video because we've done pretty much all of them. And this is the key. Depending on what size lawn you are targeting, there is a definitive answer. You have some people say, well, it just depends. It doesn't depend. The only thing it depends on is what size lawn, because there is a definitive answer on what size crew is the most efficient. That has been my claim to fame here, kind of at Florida Turf Pros. I pride myself on being very efficient, getting down in the weeds and trying to figure out how do we optimize every facet of the business to be the most profitable. So I've experimented with all that stuff, and I'm going to just pass it on to you guys so y'all can make an informed decision on what is the right move for you and your business, given, this is again the key, you're going to hear me keep saying this, given the size lawn that you are on primarily, okay? So the elephant in the room, what is the most efficient crew size? If you are doing small residential lawns, quarter acre, half acre, maybe even 3/4 of an acre, two-man crew, period. The reason being is that there is no downtime. Everybody already has always has something to do with a two-man crew. There's always something to be done. However, on a smaller residential lawn, like a quarter acre to half acre, if you add that third guy into the mix, you are going to finish pretty much at the same time, maybe a little less time is shaved off that lawn with the third guy on some lawns. The reason being is because what we have found is that on small residential properties, the mower is the bottleneck. It takes more time to mow a lawn than it does to edge it, string trim it, and blow it. Many times with a two-man crew on the type lawns that we are on, the person who is mowing is literally pulling the mower back up onto the trailer, while the person who grabbed the edger and then the trimmer has already started blowing or is finishing up blowing by the time they're done mowing. So what we found is by adding a third guy into that mix, it doesn't shave that much time off. It may just a little bit. What happens is you've got guys standing at the truck waiting on the mower to finish, okay? And it just doesn't make sense to like go and unload the 36-inch mower to help out mow. It might save you 30 seconds or a minute. Like I've timed all this stuff, guys. My definitive answer on what is the most efficient is a two-man crew on small residential lawns. However, we still run a three-man crew several days or some days during the week. And this is, again, key depending on the size lawn and the size of the neighborhood. We got a neighborhood in our town that we do about 30, last time I checked, it was like 37 lawns in this neighborhood. They're all bigger lawns, okay? By adding a third guy to the truck in that particular neighborhood, okay, now it makes sense because the lawns are bigger. Everybody always has something to do. If there's nothing to do, you just go down to the next lawn down the street with another mower. So you keep moving. There is no inefficiency of people standing around at the truck. And frankly, having that third guy on during that day that is so tough, it's a Monday for us. It just makes that day that much better. Yes, is it probably still more like efficiency sake wise to have a two-man crew on those lawns? Yeah, it does. However, there is this intangible benefit of like keeping your energy up by having that third guy. Okay, we're actually able to get more volume done during the day. Okay, like 37 lawns in this neighborhood, that is a lot of lawns, dude. Like it can take us 2 days to knock out with a 2-man crew. You add that third guy into the mix, you might lose a little bit of efficiency. However, you're really knocking out a lot of volume, and it just helps you so much on the back end of the week. Keeps your guys fresh. You start out a big Monday, man, in the hole. You're playing catch up the whole week. So it makes sense. What we have found on smaller to mid-size residential properties, the 2-man crew is the most efficient. A 3-man crew has its advantages on larger properties, or if you can go into a neighborhood and then can keep moving along, go down the street, keep mowing, keep the thing going. But this is important. The thing that I have seen that is always the bottleneck, believe it or not, is the mower. Like string trimming, edging, like that stuff, for us, it tends to happen and finish faster than the guys on the mower can finish mowing, okay? And we run a 52-inch mower, stand on, like super efficient, but I've just tracked the stuff, man. It's just what I've seen. So what doesn't make sense, okay? If you are solo and you're debating on whether or not you should add a helper because you're completely maxed out, it does not make sense for you to stay solo. Like, and I just had this conversation with somebody in Turf Pros Academy, not a Turf Pros Academy, this was a coaching call. And another thing, if you do want to book a coaching call with me, guys, there is a link in the description of my videos. Those fill up. I only have 2 or 3 slots a week. I've done that by design. But if you like that is something that I offer, and I get that question in my comments all the time, but I can go ahead and address it here in the video. So there is a link down in the video description for you to book a call with me if you want some help with your business. So where was that? So, okay, so I was having this coaching call, and this guy was like, hey, I'm maxed out. I need to add somebody, but I'm scared to do it, okay? If you can add somebody and you're paying them $20 an hour and you're billing their time out at 60, 70, 80, 90, 100 bucks an hour, why would you not hire somebody out? But the mindset is, okay, I'm a 1-man crew. I'm super efficient right now, right? If I add this other guy, I have to pay him some of my weekly revenue. I'm making $2,000 a week, but if I bring this guy on, I'm only making $1,500 a week because I've got to pay him $500 for the week, and maybe more, depending on what you pay him. That's the wrong way to look at that, because now instead of doing the work and it takes you the entire week to do this, now it takes you half the week basically to do it, all right? And guess what? You fill that same amount of work now on the back end of the week. Well, now you went from $2,000 a week to $4,000 a week. This guy cost you what? $500 a week, let's say, theoretically. And again, don't get bogged down in the numbers, just making a point. My point is that you double your revenue, you double your output, you double your overall volume, and you're billing their time out at 3 to 4 times what your labor rate is. If you're scared about growing and you're like, well, I don't know if I can add more lawn care accounts. Like I'm maxed out as a solo guy, but I've got to add more lawn care accounts. I would encourage you to go through my old videos and look at some of the marketing stuff in my old videos. There's a lot of great information, man, about how to get that phone to ring, how to make it happen, and be proactive in doing that. Furthermore, if you'd like to jump into Turf Pros Academy, there is a whole marketing module. Let's say you already got your business up. There's a marketing estimates and technology module specifically for how to gain clients and particularly build route density, okay? That's something I talk about a lot there. So that's, again, I'm not trying to just do shameless plugs here. These are things that I've experienced over 10 years of running a business that I'm like, hey, these are the hangups, the problems that people have. These are the coaching calls I'm having. These are the questions that pop up in Turf Pros Academy. I'm trying to address them in a YouTube video to put you guys on the right track. 1-man, 2-man, 3-man crews. So 1-man crew, if you are tapping out, man, you've got to add somebody, right? You've got to get somebody on board in your truck. If you are a 2-man crew and you said, hey, I'm thinking about starting another crew because 2-man crew, this is super efficient. This is great. It is the most efficient way to do it. I like 2-man crews. We service small residential lawns. Hold up. I don't think you should go out and start another 2-man crew. And the reason being, is because whenever you go and start another two-man crew, what do you got to do? You got to get another truck. You got to get another mower. You got to get another, probably, a smaller mower. You want the same type of rig as what you're running with on your other truck. New stick equipment, new backpack blower, maybe new truck payments on this, interest payments, insurance payments, more storage fees to store this other truck and trailer and equipment. All these things, they compound. Okay, your liability goes up, workers' comp goes up. Like, it all goes. It has this trickle effect, right? Because you're adding people, you're adding things, you're adding more assets to your business. It doesn't make sense a lot of time if you've got a two-man crew over here. It does not make sense to go and invest in the stuff to make another two-man crew over here. All right. What I have found, your best ROI comes from adding what? A third guy in this truck. All right. You are losing, yes, you are losing a little bit of efficiency, okay? But this little bit of efficiency loss is worth the trade-off of not having to buy another truck. You know how long it's going to take you to recover that, like that cost? Not to mention the stuff's going down in value, like depreciation. Like, mathematically, it makes sense if you got two guys, okay? This is key. I had this conversation with somebody on a coaching call the other day. If you got two guys that's super efficient on this in this truck, and they can do, let's say, 20 lawns a day comfortably, you add a third guy into this productivity probably goes up to 27 lawns a day. All right, maybe 28 lawns a day. All right. So what have you done? This is important. You need to understand this. You have taken your assets, this mower that you have over here, this truck, this whole mowing rig. You have fully utilized, like you're fully utilizing this asset. There is a production capacity of a lawn mowing truck that if you are one guy in the truck, you're not tapping the surface. And this is important. You need to understand this. If you are one guy in a truck, you are not tapping the surface of what this mowing rig is capable of producing income-wise, because you are the bottleneck. You are the solo bottleneck, and this whole rig can make you way more money than you are capable of doing. You add a second guy into that truck, productivity goes up to this, okay? Asset hasn't changed. Like, everything's still the same, all right? Guess what? You add a third guy, and what happens? Now, you're trying to add a fourth. I'm telling you, it's like a monkey trying to screw a football. It doesn't work, all right? 3-man is where it's at. 2 to 3-man is where it's at, depending on what you're trying to do for your business. But the key is that if you add this third guy into this 2-man mowing crew, you forego all these other depreciating assets that you have to buy, and you're, more importantly, fully utilizing the production capacity of your current assets, okay? Again, I've done multiple videos on this, but we want our assets, our mowing assets, and for us, that is our mowing assets, our trucks, our rigs. We want our production, we want it wide open. We want to fully be utilizing that. And if you are a solo guy, you're not tapping the service. If you've got 2 guys in that truck, you're probably about as efficient as you're going to be. You add 3 guys, now you're fully utilizing the production capacity of those assets, albeit you got to take a little bit of a loss in efficiency. Okay, so that was some information, man, that I had talked about during a coaching call, and it just, the light bulb kind of went off for this gentleman. He's like, I can't afford not to do this. I was like, you're right. You can not afford not to hire somebody for $20 an hour and then bill their time at $80. Like, why would you not do that? You cannot afford to not put another guy into your 2-man crew, make it a 3-man crew, and actually reap the full reward of your assets that you already have in place. And I hope that makes sense to you guys. Our goal as business owners is to be as productive as possible. That's ultimately what it comes down to. And by spreading yourself too thin, trying to put multiple trucks and trailers on the road, is not a good way to do that. The best way is to get full utilization of your current assets. I'll leave you one more bonus tip. If you've got a truck that's up here running on all cylinders and your mowing equipment's awesome, and you got a little backup mower, any other equipment that's just sitting around, get rid of it. It's dead weight. It's cash that is sitting there going down in value. You literally have this junk, and I'm talking to myself right now because I've got some stuff in my barn that I'm about to be selling. You literally have this stuff that's sitting there, and you're like, oh, that's an old mower. It's a backup mower for a backup mower for a backup mower. Like, no, you don't need that, man. Run lean, run mean, fully utilize your assets, fully utilize their capabilities, get the right amount of seats, the right amount of butts in the seats of your truck. You do that, you're going to make it in this business, man. You are going to make it. Okay. If you got any questions about that, leave it down in the comments. If you want a coaching call, book it with me down in the description. Or if you want to jump into Turf Bros Academy and need some help with your lawn care business, a lot of guys have given us really, really good feedback on the information. That I think it's a great value. It's like the cost of a weed eater, man. It is basically me just telling you what has worked for me in my lawn care business to set us up to be where we are, which is very blessed. We're very, very blessed. You guys take care. I'll see you on the next one.